again and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. M, and on this channel I share tips that you can use on your doctoral journey, or if you know someone who is undertaking their doctoral journey, watch and let them know, and perhaps you will be inspired to start your own journey. Okay, in this video I just want to talk about some of the things that you need to know before you apply for that postgraduate program. Okay, because it is way much better for you to apply and to start your grad journey intentionally, knowing what to expect and having done your homework before joining the program. Okay, so the first thing, obviously you have to research the schools that you want to apply to, and this would depend on the program that you want to pursue. So you have to go into the search or undertake the search and look for the universities or for the schools that offer the program that you are intending to study, right? Obvious, that's obvious. But beyond that, you also want to understand, once you have found the schools that you think are the right schools for you, you need to look at their supervision capacity. Do they have a supervisor who is willing to take you under their wings? Because obviously, to undertake a grad school or a grad program, you do need a supervisor, right? So depending also on the setup of the university, you might have to contact the would-be supervisor, and they must agree before you can even apply. Some institutions actually make it easy because they appoint supervisors, and allocate them to their students. So you need to go and do this background check that helps you know if you need to find the supervisor before you even apply. So you would have looked for the schools, you would have looked at their supervision capacity. Do they have a supervisor that is willing to take you under their wings, right? The third thing, and one of the important things that you need to know, is the funding. How do you intend to fund your study? Are you going to be self-sponsored? Are you going to get sponsorship in terms of, a scholarship, grants, and that sort of thing? Have you already started applying? And some institutions that fund will require you to have an acceptance letter that you attach with all these other, documents and all these, prerequisites that they need you to submit before they can even consider you. So how do you intend to fund your study? And you must have a plan B. Oh, I can tell you, when I started my program, I was a self-sponsored PhD candidate. And then, and I had a plan for that, and it worked until COVID came, and everything just went down, and all my resources went down. And that was a very depressing, phase in my program. So in case of eventualities, what do you intend to do to continue having the funding for your program, right? I know. And then you also need to understand the type of program, the structure, how it is structured. My own was a cohort kind of setup. So I had 9 other cohort members, even though 3 of those dropped out of the program, and only 7 of us went on to finish the program. So what is the setup? What is the structure of that program? And I found that a cohort kind of offered this support amongst ourselves. So we became like peer reviewers of each other. And sometimes my colleagues would call me, to encourage me and all sorts of things. So look at the structure, the composition of, the program that you're going to undertake, right? And then when you talk about the structure also, you want to look at, so how much time do you have from inception to defending your proposal? And then for you to then start collecting data and all the other steps that follow, right? So yeah, Very, very, very important, because you might find yourself, caught unawares. And what that does is, it kickstarts this imposter syndrome, where you begin to question yourself. Are you worthy? Are you in the right place? Did you make the right decision? And you just, begin to doubt yourself. Yeah. So be intentional about every step of the program. Make sure you have a system that will guide you in the and in along the journey, or yeah, on your doctoral or your PhD or your master's journey. When you start a program, unintentionally, you have no strategies, you don't know what is supposed to happen, I can guarantee you it's going to be stressful and it's going to be long. And I don't mean that when you have found a structure or a system that can support you in your program, that you won't have challenges, that sometimes you won't get this doubting thing that comes, the imposter syndrome. It will always be there, but you would have anticipated it. So you will cushion that shock that comes with it, and you'll be encouraged to continue. So when I, started struggling with this imposter syndrome a lot, I had to stop. I actually walked away from the program for 6 months. I applied to take a break for 6 months. And then I came back with a fresher mind, with a strategy that I followed to the T, and I made sure I completed the program. So I had a system of, what I needed to do, what are the steps that I needed to take every day. And one of the things that I did was to break down these tasks that, you have to acquire or accomplish each day or every week and monthly and. So be thinking about these things way before you start your program, so that when you get there, you already know what to do. And even when you are facing challenges, you know how to handle those challenges, rather than feeling like you want to give up because now you are totally lost. You have no idea. And remember, you've not done this before, right? So you don't know. It is a learning process. Then you look at a system, right, of how you are going to conduct your study. This just helps you, thrive in the program, because there is this concept or this notion that when you undertake a graduate program, you must survive. It is so hard, it is that, it is that. It is not possible for you to thrive, to have a healthy mental state, and it actually is, but it requires you to plan and to follow your plan and the strategies that you would have, worked out before you start the program, right? So my message to you, if you're intending to study and to apply for that graduate program, do it. Do it now. 2026 is the year for you, and you can do this. Be intentional about it. Research your school. Talk to past students or candidates, current students, current, candidates, because they know the system and how it works. It will give you a good understanding of the things that you want to know beforehand. They can also give you, the heads up on supervision capacity of the school, which supervisors you could approach, and then they'll give you this information, and you go and look up these professors, these lecturers, find out the area of interest, what have they published, and that kind of a thing, so that when you send those ghost emails, you are not even just saying, dear sir, stroke madam. That immediately tells someone you haven't even done your homework to find out who I am, what am I about in terms of research, am I a good fit for the topic that you are intending to pursue, right? Or to study or to research. And talking about research, the topic research, you must have at least a broad, idea of the topic that you want to study. It will be refined obviously when you get into the program if it needs to, but you must have at least this broad area of interest so that you can draft up a title. And I know that in most institutions, when you're applying for grad school, and especially for a PhD, you will be required to submit a draft proposal. So that means you would have already thought of a draft topic, or at least broad area of interest, and actually drafted a proposal that you attach with all the documentation that you must submit, your CV, your recommendations, and those kinds of things. So you will need to get the terms of reference before you apply so that you know the documentation that they're looking for. Sometimes they need a copy of your ID, they need your passport size photos, a draft proposal, or at least broad area of your topic of, the area that you're thinking of studying or pursuing or researching, right? And references, strong references that you can use to back up your application. And obviously you must fill in whether an electronic form, that contains all the information about you, and that kind of thing. So yeah, there is a part of documentation that you must be very articulate about, because they will follow what you have submitted, whether to consider whether they should accept you into the program or not, right? So these are just some of the preliminary things that you need to think about as you go about applying for your grad school program. Share, comment, and like to help this channel grow. Okay, so I will see you in our next video.